All right, so the video today, what I wanted to talk a little bit about is the effective use of your green paper. So your paper that you have is green. I think that's what everybody ended up with as we were very quickly leaving school those last couple of days. You ended up with green paper. Now that green paper is good to work on to be able to sculpt out your trees. Now, hopefully your plotting process is done or close to done. Now what I want you to do is start figuring out, how can I start bringing out that negative space? And in this case, the negative space, for the majority of us, is going to be your sky. So building up your land by cutting out your sky. So the negative space in this drawing right here, negative space on this drawing would be the background, would be the sky. Okay, so by adding in the sky there, what it does is it helps to bring out those trees. Now, obviously, there's other things that I'm going to be adding to those trees. I'm going to be adding yellows and greens and even darker greens into that. But what is most important is figuring out that contrast of reality, or in this case, the trees and the sky. So positive space, negative space, showing that. Now, that's pretty simple. Understanding that that is going to be a shape is important, and hopefully it's something that you already have. But this area is where the real cool stuff happens. Adding in glints of light or glints of sky coming through is going to create that illusion, one of depth, but it's also going to get a better understanding of your tree. What students screw up on in these is the first thing that they will pay attention to is a tree trunk. They'll see a tree trunk and think, I gotta draw that tree trunk and make it as perfect as possible. In this, the last thing that went in there was the tree trunks. And even then, I hated adding them in, because what it does is it kind of takes away from the shapes that are occurring here. So I had to put these tree trunks in there because it's somewhat reality and it would look kind of weird if I didn't. But it was an afterthought. It was something that I added in later on. So when we look at the tree trunks here, they are giving me some contrast to help bring this forward, but the majority of what I'm trying to get is the contrast that's happening between this tree and the contrast that's happening between that tree, so there to there. And then obviously, as I said, taking out your negative space with the sky. So adding in these little glints of light running throughout here are so vital to making this look realistic, okay? Now I'm doing the same thing in this one, only this one's even a little bit more fun. And when you pull closer to this, you'll see what I'm talking about. The color that's in here, when you step back away from it, so where you are right there, you don't see all the different colors that are in there, okay? You might see a little bit of glints of light coming through of the sky, but when you get closer, well, that's when you start seeing all these different colors. And that's what I want to see from you. I want you to not just go, okay, well, that skyline or that tree line, oh, it's green. So you just take your green and you fill it all the way in. No, actually look at it and you will see that there's a lot more colors in there than what that your first instinct is to throw down. So in other words, it's not just going to be green. There's going to be lots of colors in there. And the greens that are there, they're not going to be that vibrant, okay? Yes, in some of mine, my green is vibrant, but the majority of the green is going to be dulled down. If everything is vibrant and saturated, nothing will look saturated, okay? I know that doesn't make sense, but if you want pop, if you want that, wow, look at that, you have to have the majority of it feeling dull, and then, boom, you get the pop, okay? So even in this one, in the sunset, obviously, it's got lots of saturation and lots of color because it's a sunrise, but the pop is happening down toward the horizon line, and then as it moves up away from it, it starts to die down. It doesn't have that vibrancy, that saturation. That's what I want you to pay attention to, is not just instantly going for the brightest color that you can and just color it in. Nothing about this landscape is, I'm going to color it in. There's going to be lots of different areas that it's going to take a lot of color and a color mixture. And there's going to be areas that are going to look downright dull and boring. So when you look at this waterfall scene, there's a lot of areas in here. It's pretty boring. It's pretty dull. But it has to be there so that areas will pop. Okay? So understand that. And this is the kind of stuff that hopefully I'm seeing here this week and then we start to get our work better so that we keep going back and forth. Make sure that you're giving me updates and make sure that you turn everything in on time so that I can give you feedback. So hope that helps you a little bit. Again, if you have any questions or any comments or anything that you need help with, email me or put it on here on Google Classroom. So hope everything is going well, and have a good week and stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you soon.